function here. So, okay, we're off mic. The video has started. Week 1 of the Premier League is just finished. A few surprising results.
Indeed. Hello, everybody.
Few surprising results, but we'll go into the week 2 games, and we can then discuss each result as we go through the week 2 games as we go along.
I would agree with that. We don't have much data built up, obviously, this season, so that's what we'll be talking about.
Yeah.
So I think we're looking at, I'll ask you, the first game is relegation 6-pointer in the early days. It's Nottingham Forest at home to Sheffield United, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
I was going to say Southampton there for a second, but it's Sheffield United.
Sheffield United.
So what do you think there, Liam?
I think Forest at home, might win this one. Based upon their very good home record last year, which kept them up. So they're a very good team at home. Also playing against the Sheffield United team, who I predict to go down. They lost to Palace in their first game, Sheffield United. They had some threat. They have a fellow up front called Osula, who looked, had potential. But they have a very young team. And I think Forest will have maybe a bit more experience than this year. They've also got their striker, Awoniyi, back. He scored a goal against Arsenal, and Forest could have got something out of the Arsenal game at the end there. But I think Forest's home form against Sheffield United's kind of inexperience, I'm going to go for Forest to win maybe 2-1. What about you, Mike? What do you think?
Okay. Yes, as people who watched last season will know, I do have a soft spot for Forest from our old days in the 70s and 80s. And at home, they certainly were a different position away. So by their first home game of the season, I'm also going for a 2-0 victory for Forest. I think Sheffield United will struggle to score goals, especially away from home.
I agree.
So
okay,
there we go. I'm going 2-0.
All right. So, Mike, if you take the next game, Fulham at home to Brentford.
And this one is probably one of the most difficult ones to call. Fulham played surprisingly well, in the first game of the season. I didn't expect them to do as well as they did, but, they have a great manager, well organised, and they're against a Brentford team that we predicted would struggle to score goals. Scored 2 and conceded 2 against the Spurs. So I'm going for another entertaining draw. I think it might be 2-2. I'm going for 1-1. I think Fulham have the home advantage, but Brentford are a very good team to parking.
Okay.
So I'm going for a 1-1 draw and an entertaining game. It could easily be 3-3 as well.
All right. So
okay, what about you there,
I disagree with you a little bit. I think that Fulham were actually quite poor against Everton. Everton dominated the game, I think, and had a load of chances, but you couldn't put them away. And then Fulham caught them on the break in the second half, and fair play to them. They stayed in the game. Fulham are still without Palhinha in midfield. He's a very important player for them. And also Mitrovic seems to be unsettled, not in the team. They're still trying to resolve his situation. He may not be with them come the start of September. And they've got Jimenez up front, who was a great player for Wolves before his injury, but not the same player since then. And so there's kind of a high risk with him. And Brentford, you're right, as you said, they had entertaining 2-2 draw with Spurs. They don't have Tony, but the 2 forwards, Mbeumo and Wissa, looked lively, very lively up front, and especially Henry as well on the wing. They look dangerous. So I think it could be, I think there'll be goals in this game. Brentford's defense isn't maybe as solid. They're still without Ben Mee in the center of their defense, and they've lost their keepers. So it'll take a while for them to settle their defense again. So I'm going for goals. I'm going to go for Brentford to win 3-2 away.
Okay, wow, 3-2. Excellent. Okay, well, that's both of us are predicting an entertaining game in that one.
Yes.
Okay, so we're moving on to your favorite team, Liverpool. And they're at home to Bournemouth. Last season, this was the game that practically cost the former Bournemouth manager's job.
Yeah, the one
wasn't
before
it?
Gary
I
O'Neill,
think did
right?
he basically after his interview saying that they were business in the Premier League.
That's right. What was
And
his
it wasn't.
name?
What was the guy before Gary O'Neill?
Scott something, was it?
And-
I know what you
Oh
mean.
yeah, Scott Parker. Yes,
Scott
indeed.
Parker. That's it. 9-0 they lost, right?
So
9-0.
yes, oh yeah, they got hammered that time, and I'm predicting more woes for Bournemouth on this one. I'm not a fan. Anyone who's watched this channel knows that I'm not a fan of Liverpool's defense. I didn't predict us to be Liverpool to be in the top four. However, Bournemouth in Anfield and whoever they start, and that starts in 11. I could easily be 4-1, but when you're on top, the goals can come in quickly when your tails are up. So I'm going 4-0 Liverpool.
Okay. What did you make of Liverpool's performance against Chelsea in the 1-1 draw?
Started well, could have been 2-0 up, but again, the midfield battles, they just were a bit light. We didn't have that defensive cover, and overall, I think, I would say Chelsea were the ones disappointed to come out with a draw, and Liverpool would have been thankful, despite potentially going 2-0 up. Certainly, it was 2 points dropped more by Chelsea than Liverpool.
Okay.
And that's telling. And since then, Chelsea have spent another bull wanted. I don't like Liverpool trying to, this hurrying and panic buying at the last minutes. That hasn't been the way of Liverpool's transfer policy in the last 7 years. Liverpool usually get their business done before the transfer window opens, and literally on July the 1st, you hear these 3 players have all signed for Liverpool because the deals have been done and dusted. Instead, now they're getting into bidding wars, and it seems to be 2 American owners nearly wanting to show the other up, maybe for the American market or public perception. I don't know, but it's not good business by either of the clubs. I think the way they're doing it, Chelsea are just going to run out of youth players. The way they're getting away with it is because they're selling their academy players they're selling their good academy players for like 30 million, and they can call it all profit. Where they buy someone like the other lad for, say, 14 million a year for 10 years. So a 20 million sale will pay for this year. At some stage, that's going to run out, and you still have a guy that you have another 9 years to pay off.
That's it.
As for Liverpool, they didn't sign quick enough. They haven't solved the right back position, and because of that, you can't really put Arnold in there to try him as a defensive midfielder, because he's needed on right back. And now, again, anyone except Bournemouth will score goals against Liverpool this season, but not Bournemouth. 4-0. What's your take?
I agree. I think Liverpool will be too good at home for Bournemouth on this one. I think Liverpool have frailties in the back, but their front line is very strong. And Liverpool's best defence is actually attacking. That's their best form of defence. And I think there'll be too much for Bournemouth at Anfield. Bournemouth had a lot of injuries. They did play well against the Hammers. They 1-1 draw in the last game. Solanke scored. I think Liverpool will actually win this 1-3-1. Just a note on the transfers, I heard Jamie Carragher was saying that like before, you had a very good guy called Edwards who was doing all the transfers.
Yes,
left. And in the last few years, you've had maybe 3 or 4 different directors of football. And currently, he says, whoever is in charge of it now is only temporarily. He'll only be here until the transfer window closes, and then he's off. Whoever this guy is. So it's a bit of a mess.
There we go.
Anyway.
Yes, that's what we've seen. Anyway, I've said enough. But you're thinking 3-1 Liverpool not to have the clean sheets. Yeah. Okay, Wolves versus Brighton. One of the form teams against the team that's not quite, have a lot of question marks over. Do you see going anyway, but an away victory here?
No, I think I can only see Brighton winning this one. Brighton had a good win against a poor Luton team on the opening day, but still there were many because they've lost McAllister and Caicedo in the centre. But Brighton just keep on seeming to find new players out of thin air. Like they brought in Pedro from Watford from last season, and a new guy Adingra, who came in I think from he's from one of their from a Belgian team. Milner as well. James Milner has come in. I think he's good experience in their team. Ferguson came back from injury and he scored. So one thing about Wolves, I did tip them to go down, but I thought that they gave Man United a very good game and were very unlucky not to come away with at least a point in that game. The guy Cunha ran United's midfield ragged. He was running through them with the butter, but just they couldn't score. And so I still think that maybe Brighton will have too much for them for this one. Brighton are in form now. I think they've got their tails up. You tipped them for the top 4. So, they're going well. I'm going to go maybe 3-1 Brighton on this one. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, like you, I was surprised by how well Wolves did. They should have got a draw. I mean, the penalty, it was a blatant penalty, but there we go. I also think Brighton have more options. As you say, Ferguson's coming back, so he was only on the bench. Welbeck has got a world of experience too. So, and I got it a 2-1 victory, a bit tighter, but I think that the second half when the subs come on, I just think there's more on that bench of Brighton to maybe make that difference.
All right.
In the last 20 minutes to get a winner.
Do you think 2-1?
So, big one there at the end. Spurs versus Manchester United.
Right. What do you think, Mike?
I might just take that off quickly. Yeah, I'll kick off and just say, Spurs, obviously without Kane, there's going to be just new pressures. This manager deserves time. And apart from all accounts, there's a lot of people raving about what he did with Celtic. And that if he's given time, he will get Spurs playing as a team. And they might be I won't say better off. You're not better off without one of the best strikers of the last 10 years. But it's a challenge for the guys that have been hiding or kind of, leaving it down. Now they have to step up. The Richarlisons, the Sons, they have to step up. And maybe they will. Who knows? Like 2-2 entertaining first draw. I have this going for a 1-1 draw for the same reason. They're at home. This United team are there for attacking and for getting holes in. I don't see this spectacular yet that that they're going to dominate teams. I think some of their players like Varane and Casemiro are on the wrong side of 30.
Yeah.
And every season just does that a little bit more. So I'm going for a 1-1 draw because I do think that Spurs defense is still rubbish. And that's what I think for this game.
Okay, good.
What about you?
I'm going for Man United to win this one, maybe 3-2 away. I think there'll be goals because I think both defenses are leaky. Man United can't be as bad as they were against Wolves. They can't be. They were really bad in the first game. And Spurs, Richarlison was put up front and he struggled to make an impact in the game. Need to find a way maybe to bring him more into it. Maddison is not the type of player who's going to take responsibility to drag them out of it. I don't think he's got the character for that. I was very impressed with Bissouma though in midfield for Spurs. He was really passing the ball. He was involved in everything good for Spurs. He did a really good game, very much like he was when he was at Brighton at his best form. But I just think Man United maybe will maybe have too much for Spurs in this one. I think Spurs will take a while to find their identity. Son didn't look to be in the game at all the last time. Something's wrong there. So I'm going to go for Man United to win 3-2.
Okay, lovely. So sticking with you there, we're going into Sunday's games now, and we got a big one, Manchester City against Newcastle. That could be a huge match. What's your thinking on that there, Mr. Liam?
Well, I predicted Burnley to beat Man City the last time because I thought that they weren't be ready. We were put in our place for that one. You had a draw. I had Burnley to win. So I'm going to go for. I still think Man City must be having the. I hope that they're going to have a slow start after all the successes they had last year. I'm going to go, and as well, Man City played midweek. They played last night in the Super Cup, so that's going to add more stress to them.
They did.
So Newcastle had a great win against Villa. Surprisingly, blew them away 5-1 with great ease. Tonali looked amazing. Barnes was very good when he came. Isaac as well. All looked really good. So Man City have a great record against Newcastle. They've won their last 8 home against Newcastle. But I'm hoping that Newcastle, maybe with the momentum they have and the desire, could get a surprise, maybe 2-1 win on this one. I'm hoping more than expecting.
Yes, I think it's your heart and wanting to make the season interesting. And I went for it too. I wanted to, I went for Burnley to get a draw. My head is telling me that at home, City will have the answers for this one. It's too early in the season to be the tiredness really to kick in with these games, because of one extra match during the week, and the City squad is so big. I do think that De Bruyne's injury can't be overstated, and that at his age, and it's a recurring hamstring, because that midfield looks kind of lightweight without him, without that real vision.
Huge weight on Rodri's shoulders.
You have nice little, tippy-tappy players, but that kind of probe and pass to really get him going forward.
Yeah,
the boys don't do it enough. Anyway, I do think they'll have to. I hope I'm wrong, but I have down a 2-1 victory to Man City at home. First game of the season at home. I'm going for that. Okay, we're moving on to another team that you predicted would be in the top 6. A lot didn't start well, and Aston Villa against Everton, who, as we did predict, would find goal scoring a problem, but they actually did play well, as you said, but they couldn't buy a goal. I'm going to go for a Villa 3-1 victory because of the I'm sure the bruised egos, the reality check that they got at Newcastle. There's been a few hard words and some good training sessions, and I suppose the only question is where did Everton get that one goal? It might be an OG.
Yes, yeah.
But that's what I'm down. It's 3-1 to Aston Villa.
Okay, I agree with everything you said there. I think Villa will demand, and they're a good team, so I think that they will come back out of that one. Also, Everton can't buy a goal. They've got Maupay up front. I mean, someone was saying at some point in time, Maupay must have scored goals for someone to get where he was, but no one can remember when that was and who would. So there's a big problem up front. So I'm expecting Villa at home. Mings is out. That could be. I never thought that team would miss Tyrone Mings, but they seem to miss him in the organization when he went off against Newcastle. They were wide open in the second half there. But I do think they'll come back, and I'm expecting Villa to win 2-0 against a poor Everton team overall.
Okay, so sticking with you, the London Derby, which are always hard to call, West Ham against Chelsea.
Yes, I'm going to go for Chelsea to win this one. I like the look of them in the game against Liverpool. Fernandes was amazing in midfield. And if they bring in Caicedo, I wonder, will he start? Is it too soon? Maybe it might be too soon for him to start against West Ham. But once he comes in, sitting there, he'll push forward. The other Fernandes will be able to push forward into his more preferred position. I think Chelsea look good on the wings as well too. Chilwell and Disasi, and obviously Pochettino. He's going to make them better. Sterling looked reinvigorated. There's a new kind of excitement, I think, and also they have a big point to prove after last season. West Ham seem to be in a bit of an upheaval. Paqueta maybe is going to Man City. Now we talk about De Bruyne out. They seem to be targeting Paqueta from West Ham to come in. They've lost that Saramaka guy. He's gone out. Maybe Rice, maybe Maguire and Pros will come in. So lots of ifs and maybes about West Ham at the moment. I think Chelsea will capitalize on that and win maybe 2-1, 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, Pros in, and I think Maguire, the deal could be falling apart because Maguire just wants too much money himself. They can't agree personal terms.
Okay.
So yeah, I would agree with you on all that. I'm going for a 2-1 victory to Chelsea as well, for all the reasons you said there. Mainly because of West Ham's kind of you look at them and you say, well, are they a better or worse team than last season? You'd say they're worse. And Chelsea, are they better or worse than last season? And I think, well, with the manager, and he's had plenty of training with him, they're a better team than they were last year.
Okay.
So yeah, 2-1. And the last one, Crystal Palace at home to Arsenal. I'll take this now. I predicted Crystal Palace to go down this season. So they've surprised me away from home against, admittedly, not a great Sheffield United team, even though my distinguished colleague said that they had their moments. Against the team we're predicting to win the Premier League, I'm actually saying a draw is what I have down on the cards here. Arsenal looked really good in that first half, and they were lucky to end up winning it when it should have been 4 or 5-0 and out of sight. They were holding on for dear life, and now their best defender, in my opinion, from that first game, Timber, is out for probably till Christmas or the New Year with an ACL injury, which is really unfortunate because he really was enjoyable to watch too, the way he would go up and join attack as well as he's defending. Obviously, it'll give Gabriel back into the centre half. There's a whole realignment there again, with Timber gone back to the previous season's defence. Yep, I'm just going for Palace at home in Selhurst Park to make it awkward enough to get a draw.
Okay. Yeah, I think it'll be tough. Palace away, it's always going to be a tough game for Arsenal. I expect Palace to score. Arsenal's defense is still not rock steady. But I think overall, Arsenal should still have enough going forward to outscore Palace, even though they might concede. I could see Palace getting 1, maybe not 2. I don't know. They don't seem to have they have Oli, they have Eze, and Ayew looked good, and Edward scored at last time. But I just hope that Arsenal maybe will have too much overall. Arsenal are still finding teething problems in bringing in Rice, and also up front, the Chelsea guy Havertz hasn't really impressed at all. He's like walking around. His body language is really, maybe that's his style. I don't know. Maybe like Chris Waddle, where his body language was always negative, but he just hasn't fit in yet. And maybe Smith Rowe might get a chance. I think he's a better. Well, we'll have to see. Maybe just give him time to kind of find in the system. Hopefully, this will be the game where he'll kick off.
Maybe. We'll see. Okay, so there you have it. Are you,
in a nutshell,
happy? Yeah. You've heard our things. I suppose, what do you think? Your chances in the comments below. What do you think will be the results of the games next weekend?
Exactly.
We thank you for all your comments of last video. So
yes, spam and heckling, any kind of abuse. All right, we're off now. We'll
take it. If you want to advertise your product, if you're from Nigeria and you have 10 million you want in our account, send a message below. We probably will give you our account numbers.
Yes, fraud, scams, anything scams, any kind of comments, welcome here. All right, listen, we have important things to do now, so we have to get off, right, and get busy. So we let the people
go. Guys, you've heard them here. Enjoy the football, and we'll catch you next week.
Next week. Take care.